Have you ever wondered what makes bodies tick? Are you creating the sexual reality you desire and require? Would you like to know more about what else is possible with bodies? What if your fantasies are not as strange as you thought they were? What if you could learn to be kinder to your body and kinder to others' bodies? Would you like to create confidence in the bedroom and beyond? How has your sex life or lack of it affected other areas of your life? Have you lost your mojo and wondered where to find it? Everyone has the potency to be a sexual superhero. Get ready to listen, sense, and play with the sexualness that is you. Now, here is the host of The Pleasure Zone, Body Whisperer, Milica Jelenic.
And welcome to The Pleasure Zone. I'm your host, Milica Jelenic, and today, after having multiple conversations with over the last few weeks about their relationships and a few people's intent, I'm going to use that word, intent to actually be in exclusive relationships, started to wonder where we got the idea that exclusive is somehow the best thing to choose. So that led me on quite a journey. I'll talk about that in just a few minutes. So before I really get into that, for those of you who listen to me regularly, I've guests lately, or if I haven't had guests, I've just jumped into the topic so fast. You might not have actually heard anything that I say about myself. I'm just checking with the sound right now to see if everything's okay. So I understand my sound is sometimes cutting in and out. I apologize if it's been funny today. And thank you for bearing with me. So one of the things I'd like to kind of let you guys know is that my work is constantly evolving and changing and always adding stuff to my work. And for a long time, so at the age of 40, for half my life, I've actually been working as a psychic in a way that's like public. Working with people for parties, corporations. I do a lot of stuff all over, mostly the Greater Toronto area, and since Skype became really great as a tool, I've actually been reading for people all over the world in the last 8 to 10 years, and it's really fun for me. So I think that's something that I haven't really mentioned on this show before, is that's actually something I've been doing for a really long time, and I sort of just almost forget that it's part of my roster because it's been so part of my life for so long. So for any of you who are interested in anything like that, I actually do that for people in different ways. So I just thought I'd let you know that one of the things I offer is, it's actually changing. For the last few years, I've offered year-long subscriptions. This year, my subscription is going to be completely different, way more fun, way more interactive. So my old prescription would get you a reading a month based on a topic, and my new prescription is going to be way more interactive. So I just want to let you guys know that there's something very fun and cool coming that I'm putting out there. You're going to be able to actually come on live with me, have chats. It's going to be like a little interactive call, as well as receiving information from me personally. You'll also be able to have information from others, what they're getting. It's going to be like a collective reading, and I will be facilitating people. Notice that when people do tend to like readings and stuff, they tend to have a capacity for it. So I am opening it up for everybody to explore their talents as sort of a group facilitation monthly, to not only learn how to read cards if you don't know how, but to tap into your capacities as a psychic for what you know. And for anybody who requires some facilitation on the information they're getting, that is something that I will be offering coming soon, and with a little more stuff added to that. So if you are interested in that as something that you'd like to join, I would love for you to go onto my website at www.milicajelenic, JELENIC.com, and sign up for my email. And I'm so excited. I started having people actually use my tool on my website to sign up for my email. So thank you to all of you who actually have done that. I totally appreciate it. I love getting notifications that people are interested in what I'm doing. And I also love getting your emails. I'm so grateful to all of you who send me notes on Facebook or personal emails or texts. I've had some wonderful texts as well. They just make my day, and I'm so grateful for all of you, for those of you who send those in. And for those of you who would like to send those in and haven't and are shy about it, thank you for your energy and contribution in that way as well. So yeah, and kind of like excited me to get talking about the fact that I do read tarot, and I use different modalities for a number of years, and have actually been trained. I know it sounds funny, but I actually trained for a number of years with a variety of different teachers. I will call them teachers for different types of meditations, for psychic awareness tools in that area. So I do have a lot of background from both the access consciousness standpoint and from the metaphysical school of thought in the traditional format as well. So for anybody who likes that kind of combination and would like information from kind of both areas, I am so excited to see what else is going to develop with this New Year subscription that I'm creating, and what else is possible. So for those of you as well who aren't aware that I do more than just chat over on Skype or online or from a distance, I do several different healing modalities and have been for years that actually can be used from a distance. So if I can't see you in person, that's so much fun for me to play with bodies in person. I actually get to touch you and look at you and feel you. I can feel you wherever you are, so that's not an issue, but I actually like to physically feel you and touch you. One of the things that a few of the things I also offer that are available from a distance, and you can find that again on my website, are I do something called symphony sessions, which can be done from a distance, and they are delicious, fun, and insanely cool. I absolutely love working on Skype and watching, when they're not even looking at me, watching their bodies move from me playing with their energy. It is so fun. And it's not just about their bodies moving. It's actually that things are shifting in their life, in their universe, in their energy field, and all of it, and how that actually affects their entire everything going on for them. So if you're really looking to unlock something and you're not really sure what it is, and there's just this in your universe, like something and I don't know what it is, and you don't have a word, and you're like, wow, if I could just change that or do something, and you'd like to see what it would be like, it is August. And last August, I offered a special for anybody who would like to have a symphony session distance with me or in person. It is half price till the end of August 31st. My rates are normally $100 for an hour for a session, or a session however long that lasts. Could be 6.5 minutes or 35 seconds. You never know. Could be an hour and 25 minutes. You never know. So for any of you who would like to try that out, it is $75 till August 31st, and you can sign up for that. You'll find on my website, you're going to find a link to register for that, and I will get that up by the end of today, just because I invented this on the spot. So what else is possible too? I don't know. As I'm getting excited, I'm just throwing things out there for all of you. So that's one of the things I do from a distance. And I also offer sessions in something called radionics. And for those of you in the U.S., there are, and all over the world, this is something that I can do all over the world. There are people in your countries who do this stuff, but it's actually really hidden and very hard to find. So especially in the U.S., for those of you who are kind of familiar with it and wondering where do you find who actually does this radionic stuff, which is kind of like rife machines, for those of you who are aware of that. You can contact me. It is still legal in Canada for now, and it is not in the U.S. So So anybody who does it in the U.S. is really good at hiding it. So you can look up a video also on my website for that. There is a 9.5-minute video featuring my mom, and she is a doctor of natural medicine and is on that video discussing how it is the machines work and what we do with them. So that's another thing that I do distance. And as a Reiki practitioner since 1997, which blows my mind that it's been 18 years, I also have the capacity to send Reiki from a distance as well. So please check out my website, check out my rates, check out whatever's going on, check out the energy of, if you choose this, will this be a contribution to your life in the next 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 500 years? And if you really get that it's expansive and fun and joyful and playful, give me a shout, send me a text, send me an email. Let's hook up and see what we can create. What can we actually change for you? And guys, when I facilitate for you, you actually are such a contribution to my life. It changes stuff for me too, and thank you for that as well. So now that I've gone on about myself for like the last 10 minutes, which I rarely do, I just thought I would this time because I felt like it. What I started to get, and what it is that I was talking about that, is because I started to get that I'm actually more married to me than I realized I was. So the question, are you married, comes to me almost daily over Facebook messages or whatever. So, are you married? So, do you have a boyfriend? And there's this funkiness that gets into my universe when people ask me that. And I'm like, oh, married? Oh, I have a lover. Why would I want to be married? And I had a lot of judgment about it, because the last time I had something that was remotely close to a marriage, it was one of the most miserable experiences of my life. So for me, everything I associated with marriage is daunting, tasking, painful, really funny, right? So how many points of view do all of us have about marriage that is actually creating this stop in our universe to committing to anything? So for me, marriage equals commitment, and they're actually completely different when you look up the etymology of them. So the etymology of marriage comes from two words, and I'm just going off on memory on this, so I may have it slightly off, from the words matra and then monter or something like that. So but what it actually means is mothers, something about like an oath to a mother. So let me just double check that, because it was like, what? Has really nothing to do with the male counterpart that we often associate marriage with. So it means mother, so mater means mother, and monium, so matrimonial, is mother, and so monium is action, state, or condition. And so that really, like, what does that have to do with two people getting together and co-creating a life? I actually got nothing in the energy of that etymology that is about people co-creating life. So not even just two people. What about if there's more? There are polygamous relationships. There are polyandrous relationships. There are relationships with like group marriages as well. So for any of you who are listening, poly just means multiple. Polygamous is where you generally have one male with multiple females. And I think it's polyandry, is where there's one female to multiple men. And then there's the group marriage. So that's polyamorous, where there's multiple groupings of people marrying, kind of like group marriage. So this idea of marriage being, this like exclusive thing, which was what, we've put a lot of emphasis on that, especially in coming from a Christian background in my life. There's been a lot of emphasis on religious emphasis on marriage as something that's sacred and holy and between man and woman. And I'm thinking, there's something so blah about that in my universe, because guess what? The etymology of it states that that's not it at all. So, you know me, I'm thinking about other stuff. And so when we come back, I'm going to talk a little bit about what is commitment. So when we come back from break, let's go there.
Many of us have created a lot of limitations around sex and what we are willing to choose. Would you be willing to explore what has already been introduced as sexual practices on this planet? What else is possible beyond what we have already seen, heard, or thought of? What if now is the time for a totally different sexual revolution? Taking the taboo out of all aspects of sex, sexuality, and copulation. By tuning into the Pleasure Zone radio show with body whisperer Milica Jelenic, you'll receive tools, inspiration, and a foundation to allow yourself to receive more in your sex life, and quite possibly other areas of your life as well. Listen for The Pleasure Zone with Milica every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, and 5 p.m. Pacific Time on a2zen.fm.
What would you say if I told you that you could change your life in only 1 hour and all while lying down relaxing? Thousands of people all over the world have. What am I talking about? It's called Access Consciousness, the bars. The bars is an energetic body process that contains 32 different points on your head that, when run, assist you in releasing decisions about any area of your life that you have made solid and as a result cannot change. The bars is the first class in Access Consciousness, a dynamic set of tools and information designed to transform any area of your life. When you have a bars session, the worst that can happen is you feel like you had a fantastic massage. The best thing that can happen is your whole life could change. Go to accessconsciousness.com today to find a facilitator to schedule a private session or to find a bars class in your area. Are you willing to give yourself an hour to change your life?
What does optimal cell health mean, and how can you create it? Pulsed electromagnetic field therapy by Swiss Bionics can improve your well-being in every area of your life. The PEMF mat stimulates cells to move and create space between cells for optimal cell function. How does it get better than that? Use 2 to 3 times per day for 8 minutes will improve circulation and immune function. Cell metabolism and repair begins, and mobility also will increase. Do you desire better health? If you're interested or would like a session, call 613-473-3805 or in Toronto. Call or text 416-253-1617. Monthly rentals start at only $300 per month. Is now the time to choose optimal cell health?
This is The Pleasure Zone with body whisperer Milica Jelenic. To participate in the program today, please call us in the U.S. Call 815-880-8255-TALK or Canada 613-800-8736. Or you can Skype us at a2zen.fm. You can also make the choice to ask for comment by email by sending to Milica at milicajelenic.com. Now, back to the program.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Pleasure Zone. I'm your host, Milica Jelenic. And today we've been talking about marriage and what is marriage and looking at the etymology of it and where it came from. And then there's this history of it, too, which I'm going to get into that as well. So commitment, which is actually what I'm more interested in looking at, because a lot of what we have assumed marriage to be about is about committing. And so what really is commitment? What is the etymology of that? So I did look that up as well, because it's me and I like to. And commitment, and I think we talked about this in another show before, just because it was the word interesting to me. So commit itself means to give in charge or to entrust. So when we're committing, also in Latin, it means to unite or connect or combine, which I like that energy of that, to unite, connect, or combine and bring together. So that's a little different than the marriage thing, right? So where I ever got the marriage is about commitment is actually not even what was intended. So So I'd like to just check in with everybody and see if anybody here has ever associated marriage with commitment, relationship with commitment. What if none of that's true? And bringing things together, like you can commit and bring things together in so many ways. So it's like bringing even I was watching my daughter do art the other day, and she had so much energy that she was putting into her creations. She was really committed to it. So she was bringing together herself, her ideas, all of these different physical things like paint and canvases and all this stuff. So she did have that commitment. She was bringing things together. So for any of you who are wondering, like, well, what are you doing in your life for commitment? So is there anything that you're willing to actually put energy in to bring things together? So for me, I started to really get, and I'm getting more and more, that I'm bringing things together in my life, in my business, with my friendships, with my daughter. So as soon as I started to bring things together for me, and for me it's this like, I'm starting to bring the elements of me together, and that's a commitment to me and to my life. And this is like now expanding to other areas of my life. So when somebody asks me, are you married? Not so much, but am I committed to my life, to my living, to joy, to the planet? And it's like the more wow, I'm apparently extremely committed to the planet. I actually didn't know that till right now, so how's it get any better than that? I just thought I was kind of saying it, but I didn't actually get it. I actually am being committed to the planet. So, and what else am I bringing together for the planet as facilitating that? And how many of you listening to this are facilitating that with me, co-creating for the planet, just having some awareness around it and choosing it? So how beautiful and wonderful and lucky are we that we can actually have this commitment to our lives without having to have all this other stuff, this weirdness around the marriage thing, which maybe doesn't work for everybody. If you've started to notice, you might have started to notice that a lot of people are doing what is now termed serial monogamy. So getting in long-term relationships, long-term, more than a one-night stand is kind of long-term these days. So long-term relationships, and you are doing them over and over and over again. So you might have a 2-year relationship, a 5-year relationship, a 10-year relationship. And there isn't a lot of dating that goes on in between. It's kind of like you get in one and you're in it, and you're in the next one and you're in it. And it was kind of funny because I saw a friend of mine yesterday, and she's had she came into the office, and I was like, whoa, who's this guy? And it's, I think, boyfriend/husband, number 4 or 5. I was like, wow. And she's a bit years older than me. So I was like, holy cow, this woman is actually completely and totally committed to joy in her own life, though. So when it's done and nothing is going to change, and she's aware that the person's not willing to change, and she's not willing to change certain things either, that it's like, whatever they were creating is done, and she moves on. And then she's like, I'm in it, the next one, and she's fully in it. She jumps in full force. So how many of us are not really willing to jump in full force because we're worried that the other person isn't going to jump in full force, so we kind of feel foolish or weird or stupid or whatever would come up. For me, it would be like, if I'm choosing to fully commit and the other person isn't, I'd feel heartbroken and like I was being rejected, dejected, like so many things would come up for me. So what if it has nothing to do with that? And what if you're willing to jump in full force, full heart, barriers down, and be in that place of being willing to bring things together just for the fun of it? What if there's no expectation about the outcome? Like, this is going to create something. This is going to generate something. What if it can be just total fun? And so what else could be fun? Like, what would be really fun to add together that you can then create, or not even create, what would be fun. So let's start with that. Like, is commitment fun for you, or is it daunting? So wherever aware that you've actually saw commitment to anything as daunting, will you please destroy and uncreate all of it times a godzillion? Right, wrong, good, bad, pock, pot, all night shorts, boys and beyonds. Holy lifting. There's so much stuff there that it's like, wow, commitment can be fun, guys. Committing to your own life, committing to fun. Are you willing to commit to fun? Are you willing to go, yes, fun, I am choosing you full on, and this is part of my life, this is part of, and just say yes to it. Like, just, this can be joyful. And so when you're jumping in full force, and as I mentioned earlier, it's like I read tarot, right? And for me, jumping in full force is like the Fool card. So for any of you who are actually aware of this, it's like the Fool, he's actually completely aware. He's one of the most aware cards, and he's totally adventurous. And he stands on this precipice, and he's kind of like wondering. He's actually full of wonder, like, where am I going to go? What grand, for me, is the what grand and glorious adventures am I going to have today card. And he stands there in total wonder and trust in himself. But if he actually jumps off this cliff, he'll be totally okay. He might actually grow wings. Something might actually show up that he wasn't aware of. So there's this beauty, and there's this communication with the universe that goes on there as well. That it's like, universe, do you have my back? Yeah, cool. Can I jump now? Yeah, cool. So would you be willing to communicate with the universe as well when you are committing to something like, hey, if I choose this, do you have my back? Will this actually create for, will this create for the planet? Will this, create awareness for people? What will this bring to the world? Are you willing to choose that? Because if it is going to create something for the whole planet, then whatever you're choosing, guess what? For those of you who are looking for success, for fame, for money, if you're creating something for the whole planet, at some time or other, you will actually get that which you desire, which is that fame or whatever it is that you're desiring. The beauty of the Fool card, from how I receive the Fool, is that he's both the beginning and the end. So he is like the expansiveness of infinite choice, awareness, and possibility. And in a lot of decks, he goes from that to universe. So he and the universe are really super connected, the Fool and the universe. And they are how the story of all of the major arcana of the deck get kind of tied together. So I love that he is, I saw that image as I'm talking about standing on that precipice, and just, are you willing to trust you? That, when you're willing to trust you, that is committing to you when you choose it. So choose it. If you get information and it, comes up as like, yummy, like that feels, whatever that is, don't know where it's going, don't know what's creating, I'm choosing it, that choice, and that is actually, and that trust in you, that is where you're committing to you. So what do you know about commitment that I don't know about commitment? Have you always loved being committed to something? I also have a friend who, my mom and I joke that she is a serial monogamist with friends, with people, with businesses. She can do only one at a time. And like everything else comes to a distraction for her. So that's not a wrongness too. So for me, I have more of this polyamorous kind of way of creating in my world. If I have to have a label on it, it would be like, wow, I'd like to be married to all things and everyone and everything. Like, how can I have all of that if we're going to have that marriage word? So for those of you who that just totally doesn't work for you, would you be willing to consider what your life would be like if you did just choose one thing? And for those of you who are, playing my game of, I'd like to be married to everybody and everything, what would it be like to just completely put your energy into one project fully? And what would that create for you? So what if neither is a wrongness? And would you be willing to look at the other side of the coin. So when we come back from break, we're going to delve into this a little more, and who knows where this is going to go. So thank you for listening, and when we come back, a little more on marriage.
Many of us have created a lot of limitations around sex and what we are willing to choose. Would you be willing to explore what has already been introduced as sexual practices on this planet? What else is possible beyond what we have already seen, heard, or thought of? What if now is the time for a totally different sexual revolution? Taking the taboo out of all aspects of sex, sexuality, and copulation. By tuning into the Pleasure Zone radio show with body whisperer Milica Jelenic, you'll receive tools, inspiration, and a foundation to allow yourself to receive more in your sex life, and quite possibly other areas of your life as well. Listen for The Pleasure Zone with Milica every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, and 5 p.m. Pacific Time on a2zen.fm.
What does optimal cell health mean, and how can you create it? Pulsed electromagnetic field therapy by Swiss Bionics can improve your well-being in every area of your life. The PEMF mat stimulates cells to move and create space between cells for optimal cell function. How does it get better than that? Use 2 to 3 times per day for 8 minutes will improve circulation and immune function. Cell metabolism and repair begins, and mobility also will increase. Do you desire better health? If you're interested or would like a session, call 613-473-3805 or in Toronto. Call or text 416-253-1617. Monthly rentals start at only $300 per month. Is now the time to choose optimal cell health?
What would you say if I told you that you could change your life in only 1 hour and all while lying down relaxing? Thousands of people all over the world have. What am I talking about? It's called Access Consciousness, the bars. The bars is an energetic body process that contains 32 different points on your head that when run assist you in releasing decisions about any area of your life that you have made solid and as a result cannot change. The bars is the first class in Access Consciousness, a dynamic set of tools and information designed to transform any area of your life. When you have a bars session, the worst that can happen is you feel like you had a fantastic massage. The best thing that can happen is your whole life could change. Go to accessconsciousness.com today to find a facilitator to schedule a private session or to find a bars class in your area. Are you willing to give yourself an hour to change your life?
This is The Pleasure Zone with body whisperer Milica Jelenic. To participate in the program today, please call us in the U.S. Call 815-880-8255-TALK or Canada 613-800-8736. Or you can Skype us at a2zen.fm. You can also make the choice to ask for comment by email by sending to Milica at milicajelenic.com. Now, back to the program.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Pleasure Zone. I'm your host, Milica Jelenic, and I have no guest today, which has been fun and interesting. So I am actually speaking about marriage. The title is, Are You Married? So after having multiple people ask me that, and being told that I'm so marriable by some people, it's really funny. I actually wondered, like, what is this that people are asking me this? And what is it about that question that irks me so much? So, and what points of view do you have about marriage? What points of view do you have about commitment that, if you didn't have them, would allow you to receive way more in your life, your living, and of you? And everything that doesn't allow that, times a godzillion, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, pock, pot, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Sometimes when we're committing to ourselves, I know that I get this thing where it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to commit to me. All those really, quote, good parts of me, like the hard-working part and this part. And so then I've automatically created separation. which is actually what relationship is, and we've talked about that before. So relationship is the measurement between two objects, the distance between two objects. So that is separation. So when we're looking to only commit to certain aspects of ourselves, as if we have aspects, as if we're not whole, then we are automatically creating separation. This thing about exclusive relationships is also separation. I will exclude others in favor of you. I choose not to do that. I choose to have inclusive relationships where everybody and anything that is a contribution to my targets in my life can show up. And even if they aren't a contribution to the targets in my life, they can still show up. I just might not choose to have them sitting around for very long as I'm creating other things and allowing other things to show up. So everything, yes, is welcome, and it's just a matter of, are you choosing to hold on to it forever and ever, as if it's the most right thing ever or the most wrong thing ever, to prove the rightness of you by holding on to the wrongness of others. Wow, whatever that is, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, pock, pot, all nine shorts, boys, and beyond. So it's a fun thing to look at the exclusion and what are you excluding. So I kind of mentioned that friend of mine who does monogamy with everything, and so there is a bit of an exclusion when going, I'm only going to have this person in my life. And say, for example, if you're only willing to receive sexual energy, let's get to that, from one person. So say you're in a relationship and you're only willing to receive sexual energy from one person. What is your body is going to say about that? How does your body sense that? Is your body going, oh, but I really would like more? Is your body more aware than your ego on that front? Like, would your body like to actually receive sexual energy from hundreds, thousands of people, from the entire planet, from the trees? So sexualness is actually what that's the word we use in Access for sexual energy. And are you willing to receive it from more than one person? And if you were, what would your life be like if you were? So if you have a wall up to receiving from everybody except for one person, they become your everything, your source for everything, your source for money, your source for health, your source for joy, your source for creating. And that's fine. A lot of people are choosing that. And what else is possible? So if you are willing to receive from more than one person, pull your barriers down. And what does that mean? So a barrier is anything that is a limitation of, say, for like example, the exclusion. I can only receive from one person is a limitation in that you're not willing to receive from more than one person. So a barrier gets built with our limitations, with our judgments, with our rejections, with our projections. We have barriers that come up for so many things. So ask your barriers to fall down, melt down, sprinkle down. I was working on a video last week that had this beautiful gold sparkles coming down, and then they turned into a logo. And for me, it's like, oh, I love that energy of that. It's like the walls come down and they just melt everything. So yeah, what if you could have all those walls just melt down like little gold sparkles, tingling down, 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 down. And you might notice that even when a few of them go down, that holy Jeebus, you have a whole lot more there. So diligently asking, daily asking, every 10 seconds asking for your barriers to come down to receive more and more and more. How much more fun can you have? And also acknowledging that there are so many more people on the planet to receive from outside of the people that you've already met in your lifetime, in this lifetime, in other lifetimes. What if you can receive from people you've never even met? Everything doesn't allow you to receive from people that you've never even met in person, or that you've never met online, or that you've never even just said yes to friending on Facebook. Would you be willing to receive from somebody that you don't even know, that you don't even know that knows you, that doesn't even know that they know you? Them. Would you be willing to receive from them just because they're asking for that, just because you're asking for that? Guess what? That'll show up. I know it sounds so like obscure that you can have sort of a connection to somebody that you've never ever met. And what's really fun is sometimes when you do meet them, they seem super familiar to you. And sometimes they seem super familiar to you because you've shared all those lifetimes. And sometimes they seem super familiar because guess what, you psychic little being already connected with them many, many times. So, for example, I met a woman the other day, and for the life of me, I was like, no, I swear I know you. I even feel like I've worked on you. And then when I was introduced to her, I had the awareness of like, oh, that's what that is. Oh, and what else is possible? So even when you have an awareness, keep asking, oh, neat, and what else is possible? So, because there's often more than one little awareness that'll come up on that front. So also for whole commitment end of things, it's like if you aren't willing to receive from people you've never met that you would like to receive from, that would like to gift to you, that you would like to gift to, that you didn't even know would like to gift to you or that you would like to gift to, if you become so exclusive, you've put so many walls up that those people, they can't even find you. You've made yourself into such a tiny minutia that nobody can find you. So would you like to expand now? Bigger, 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 bigger. To the farthest reaches of the universe. Notice your feet on the floor, your bum in the chair, your bum on the bed, wherever you are. And, touch your thigh, touch your belly, touch your head, poke your nose, pick your nose, poke your ear, whatever. Get 3 points of connection and expand. Out, out, out as far as possible. And just allow yourself to receive from everybody. And when I say everybody, it's not just the people you've met. It's not the people you've known in the past. It's not the people you assume you're going to meet next week at some event. It's everybody and everything. Every single body, which includes animals, insects, trees, those bodies, all of them, bodies. So would you be willing to receive from all of them instead of having this idea, just for a minute, just see what it's like to receive from all of them instead of having the exclusive idea that you can only receive from one person? That would make life incredibly boring. So I would have one client, that would be my lover, because I wouldn't be willing to receive from anybody else. So if you have a business that's really small and you have only one client, you might want to ask. Or if you only have serially one client, like one client every 4 months shows up for like a 4-month intensive, or you're in a store and you've only got one client come in a day to purchase things. If you have this idea of exclusion, you will only allow one person in at a time. So would you allow more than one person in at a time to contribute to your life and your living? And what will that create for the other person? They don't have to be your everything forever and ever and ever. And how much more ease will that create in their life? How much more ease will it create in your life to not have the expectation that they are your demigod, that you are to worship them and they are to be your everything and create miracles for you? So what if they don't have to be that? And as I'm saying this, my lover is now getting dressed in my room, so how lucky am I? And he's contributing to the show. Thank you so much. And also for us, he has friends outside of our relationship, and if he didn't, he'd probably go mental, and I would go mental thinking that I have to be his everything. And so how much more fun is it to just allow you to receive from more than one person. Allow the person that you're choosing as your playmate, as your lover, to receive from more than one. How much fun is it that they can go off into the world and get turned on by have fun with you. I get super happy that, my lover goes off and then he goes, to all these women around town who adore him. And then all of a sudden he comes home and it's like, woohoo, because he just received all kinds of loving from all these people, all these energetic contributions to him and his body for being totally enamored with him. So I think I need to go to break because I cut out for a second. So we'll go to break, and when we come back, I will wrap this up. Are we ready for break? I'm ready for break.
Many of us have created a lot of limitations around sex and what we are willing to choose. Would you be willing to explore what has already been introduced as sexual practices on this planet? What else is possible beyond what we have already seen, heard, or thought of? What if now is the time for a totally different sexual revolution? Taking the taboo out of all aspects of sex, sexuality, and copulation. By tuning into the Pleasure Zone radio show with body whisperer Milica Jelenic, you'll receive tools, inspiration, and a foundation to allow yourself to receive more in your sex life, and quite possibly other areas of your life as well. Listen for The Pleasure Zone with Milica every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, and 5 p.m. Pacific Time on a2zen.fm.
What does optimal cell health mean, and how can you create it? Pulsed electromagnetic field therapy by Swiss Bionics can improve your well-being in every area of your life. The PEMF mat stimulates cells to move and create space between cells for optimal cell function. How does it get better than that? Use 2 to 3 times per day for 8 minutes will improve circulation and immune function. Cell metabolism and repair begins, and mobility also will increase. Do you desire better health? If you're interested or would like a session, call 613-473-3805 or in Toronto. Call or text 416-253-1617. Monthly rentals start at only $300 per month. Is now the time to choose optimal cell health?
What would you say if I told you that you could change your life in only 1 hour and all while lying down relaxing? Thousands of people all over the world have. What am I talking about? It's called Access Consciousness, the bars. The bars is an energetic body process that contains 32 different points on your head that, when run, assist you in releasing decisions about any area of your life that you have made solid and as a result cannot change. The bars is the first class in Access Consciousness, a dynamic set of tools and information designed to transform any area of your life. When you have a bars session, the worst that can happen is you feel like you had a fantastic massage. The best thing that can happen is your whole life could change. Go to accessconsciousness.com today to find a facilitator to schedule a private session or to find a bars class in your area. Are you willing to give yourself an hour to change your life?
This is the Pleasure Zone with body whisperer Milica Jelenic. To participate in the program today, please call us in the U.S. Call 815-880-8255-TALK. Or Canada, 613-800-8736. Or you can Skype us at a2zen.fm. You can also make the choice to ask for comment by email by sending to Milica at milicajelenic.com. Now, back to the program.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Pleasure Zone. I'm your host, Milica Jelenic, and today we're talking about, are you married? So one of the things that I noticed as I was kind of like looking up some historical stuff on marriage was that there are so many different kinds of marriages, and there are marriages where in different cultures and religions that people have actually created obligations for lifetimes. So there is a right of something called a right of sexual access that can happen in relationships, marriages, where in certain groups or lineages, people have paid a bride price, which is they've actually paid for the bride, and that family retains the right to the woman's offspring, even if her husband dies. So, say for example, you go and buy your bride, and then you die, but your brother is still alive. So your brother can now be married to your wife, and if wife dies, can now be married to your children. So this can go on for several lineages. So why I'm bringing that up is because for so many lifetimes, we have had multiple commitments and oaths and vows. And so just before we end this show, I want to give you guys a tool that I use regularly, literally like daily, for so many things. It's a clearing from access consciousness. It's a little bit of an advanced clearing, and I love it. So I'm going to kind of simplify it for you guys today so that you don't sit here and go, huh? So every day, for everything that you're creating, whether it's something with your lover, something with your business, ask every day for any promises, oaths, or vows, or commitments. I'll keep it simple. It's a lot longer than this. So anything that you've promised or committed to, or that you've created vows with in this lifetime or any lifetime throughout all eternity, whether it's with a person, whether you had these polygamous relationships, whether you had a bride price relationship, whatever it was, will you recant, rescind, reclaim, renounce, denounce, destroy, and uncreate all the places where you are still choosing to be totally committed to that instead of being totally committed to your life? And everything that doesn't allow that, will you destroy and uncreate it all, times a godzillion? Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, POD, all nine, short, boys, and beyonds. So, again, for me, I choose to destroy and uncreate my relationships with everyone. I'll do it with clients as well. I'll do it with friends. I'll do it with, when the energy kind of comes up, I'll do it. It's not so much as like just doing it by rote, like it's something I have to do. It's like, oh, there's an energy, let's clear it. And I do find that it comes up regularly and daily. If this tool works for you, please use it. It's a phenomenal tool, and it can be such a contribution to anything that you've created in other lifetimes too, where you're finding there's this charge on something. So when you do have a charge with a person and they particularly drive you insane, look at like, how many oaths, vows, swearings, fealties, communities, commitments, bindings, bondings, promises have you created with this person in some other lifetime, and in this lifetime to either kill each other, maim each other, shame each other, blame each other, to forever keep each other in this entanglement? And are you willing to recant, rescind, reclaim, renounce, denounce, destroy, and uncreate all of it times a godzillion? Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, POD, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. What I know is when you start to clear that, there's a lot more ease, and they can actually show up in your life in a totally different way. I was doing that a few weeks ago, and then all of a sudden was like, oh wow, I can actually choose to receive from this person now. And also, if there's something that really bothers you about them, then you can also ask so say for example you think the person's a jerk. You can ask, what energy, space, and consciousness can I be the jerk face that I truly be? And everything that doesn't allow that, destroy and uncreate it all. Whatever we resist persists. So if you are refusing something, you might want to check that out and see if you are that too, and just clear it. You can clear it and choose to be it so that you can see it and receive it. Okay, I'm rhyming today. I want to thank all of you for listening today to my rant on marriage. Super grateful for all of you. If you'd like to contact me, please do at www.milicajelenic.com. And next week, we're going to have a bunch of topics listed for you to see for future.
Thank you for choosing to listen to The Pleasure Zone. Milica Jelenic will return next Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on a2zen.fm. We hope you'll join us. Until then, have the best week of your life by choosing to be turned on and tuned in to your body.